Well, hey, good morning, and that's Uncle Lou here. Yeah, that's right, it's me, Uncle Lou, and I'm live for you on LouTube today. Thanks for watching. We'll get to some phone calls here in a few minutes to talk about today's games coming up. College game day just started over on ESPN. They're live from Ames, Iowa today for the Iowa versus Iowa State game. Of course, you can't win at Iowa State. This game's a foregone conclusion. You can ask that one Big 12 guy what has his own YouTube channel. He'll gladly tell you it's possible to win at Iowa State. So, it is what it is. Feel bad for the Hawkeyes, but what can you do? You have to play them there. You have to catch your L. It's just what it is. SEC Nation comes on in about an hour, 10 a.m. Eastern. They are live in Lexington, Kentucky today for the game tonight. Florida at Kentucky. We had some games last night too. I guess we'll go ahead and put this up now and get this out of the way. But here you go. Washington State and Houston, that ended up being a pretty good game. Washington State won 31-24. North Carolina and Wake Forest. Wake Forest jumped out to a huge lead in that game. North Carolina came back. I think they got it to within 3 at one point, 18-21, I think it was. Wake Forest ended up kicking another field goal, winning 24-18. Little bit of a surprise there. That game was weird from the get-go. Wake Forest was favored in that game by 3, which was a little strange. They end up getting the win at home. You got to watch out for these games that are played during the week. You just see a lot of weird things happen, like Kansas beating Boston College on the road, 48-24. Kansas may not score 48 points the rest of the year, but they somehow scored 48 against, your typical ACC team. Listen, you've got Clemson. Maybe Virginia is separated from the rest of the pack, maybe. But then you've got 6 or 7 teams that are all the same with different helmets on. North Carolina, NC State, Wake Forest, Boston College, Duke, North Carolina. These teams are all the same. And then you've got your garbage cans like Miami, Florida State. The ACC is just not in a good place. Lots of games coming up today, though. No marquee matchups this weekend like we had last weekend with 2 games involving top 15 teams. But we still have some pretty interesting games today. We'll run through it real quick here. What am I going to be watching today? Well, during the early games, of course, I'll be watching Georgia. They host Arkansas State. This game should be a runaway, particularly in the second half. Georgia's a big favorite in this one. I don't think anyone really sees an upset happening there. I'm going to keep an eye, too, on this Ohio State game. Every year over the last couple of years, it seems like they find a game to lose that they're not supposed to. Could this be that game? An early kickoff on the road at Indiana. Indiana gave them fits last year. I think it was the Indiana game where that famous game towards the end of the season where Urban Meyer was having his phantom headaches on the sideline because they were losing. So he tried to have like some sort of health condition out of the blue because they were getting beat by Indiana. I think that was the Indiana game. Ohio State ended up winning, and then of course Urban Meyer was fine. But I mean that's neither here nor there, I guess. Chattanooga at Tennessee. Look, yes, it would be hilarious if Tennessee lost again. I don't see it happening. Of course, I've said that each of the last 2 weeks, though. And Tennessee has surprised me by by finding ways to lose. I really don't expect them to lose today. I think they will win. Noon game, we'll see. How many people will be there? I don't know. And then this might be the best game of the early games today. Kansas on the road at Mississippi State. Kansas State on the road at Mississippi State. Mississippi State is about a 7 or 8 point favorite, depending on where you look. I kind of like Kansas State in this game. I don't know why. I may be too low on Mississippi State, though. You guys know I'm not a big fan of their head coach. They have looked pretty good this year, and they've got one of the best players in the SEC that you've never heard of, that Kylan Hill. Running back. I think he's leading the SEC in rushing, but I'm favoring Kansas State in that game at the 7 or 8 points, but I think that'll probably be the best of the early games. and you guys can see the other early games there. Those are the 4 I'll be keeping an eye on TV, though. Your afternoon games, of course, Alabama on the road at South Carolina, big SEC matchup there in Columbia. Alabama's a huge favorite, about a 24, 25, 26-point favorite, depending on where you look. Most people I've talked to expect Alabama to cover. Yes, Ryan Helinski looked good last week. Yes, freshmen come in and play all the time now and don't necessarily look like true freshmen. But nothing Ryan Helinski saw last week against Charleston Southern, whoever it was, is going to prepare him for what he sees today against the Nick Saban defense. I fully expect Alabama to win that game comfortably. Not sure if I would play him at 25 or 26 points. Probably would stay away. But I don't think anybody expects that to even be a close game. I'll be keeping an eye on that one, though. What about Stanford on the road at Central Florida? Stanford got absolutely mollywopped last week by Southern Cal, who looks a little bit better than we thought they would be. Now they got to travel all the way across the country to Florida, take on a red-hot Central Florida team. And you know Central Florida is going to want to not just win this game, but put a beating on Stanford if they can. We all know there's no chance of Central Florida making the playoffs. We get that. But you can't tell them that. And in their mind, the only way to get there is to go undefeated. And not just go undefeated, but to absolutely beat the bejesus out of people, especially any Power 5 opponents that they face. Stanford fits that category. I expect UCF to roll big time in that game. And speaking of Southern Cal, they're on the road at BYU at 3:30 today. They're about a 4-point favorite in that game. I really like Southern Cal in that one. BYU had the big emotional win last week on the road at Tennessee. They come back home now and face a hot Southern Cal team. I think Southern Cal goes in there and rolls over them, no problem. That'll set up a huge game for next week, Southern Cal versus Utah. The winner of that game probably ends up winning the Pac-12 South, right? Arizona State and Michigan State, 4 o'clock on Fox. Michigan State, probably the best defense in America through the first few weeks of the season, and it may be that way at the end of the season too. Arizona State, one of those, 6-7 win Pac-12 teams. They're not very good. They're not terrible. I would expect Michigan State to win that game pretty comfortably. And then tonight, and I'll be live streaming on Patreon tonight. We'll start the stream around 7 o'clock for this Florida-Kentucky game. So if you're a member over on the Patreon page, be sure and check the Patreon page around 6:45 or so. There'll be a link posted on the Patreon page. You just click the link or whatever. It'll take you. You guys know how it works. It'll take you to the live stream. If you're not on the Patreon page, click the link down below this video that says support the channel. Get yourself signed up. Join us tonight over on the Patreon page for the live stream. We got some good games here. Of course, Florida at Kentucky. Clemson on the road at Syracuse, which doesn't seem like nearly as good of a game today as it did a week ago. Clemson won big over Texas A&M, and Syracuse never even showed up against Maryland. Florida State at Virginia. I think Virginia's going to win this game. I just think they're a better team. I think Bryce Perkins is the second best quarterback in the ACC, and through the first couple of weeks, he's played like the best quarterback in the ACC. Now, I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to struggle all year, but he has struggled through the first 2 weeks. Anybody that tells you otherwise just isn't paying attention. I mean, the guy's thrown more interceptions than he has touchdowns. So, yes, Trevor Lawrence is struggling out of the gate here. TCU and Purdue, 7:30 Big Ten Network. I'd probably go with TCU in that one. I'm not sold on Purdue, even though they've got one of my favorite players, Rondale Moore. He's pretty much all they have. And then OU on the road at UCLA. OU is going to win this game by as many points as they want. This is going to be a massacre here. UCLA is giving away free tickets to this game because no one wants to go show up at their games. Chip Kelly's just been an abject failure and an utter disaster as a hire out there at UCLA. Florida really dodged a bullet when he turned that job down. But Florida got their second choice, which was Dan Mullet, so it is what it is. And you got one late game maybe worth keeping an eye on tonight, Texas Tech in Arizona. I would take Texas Tech in that one. Not a lot of people are paying attention to Texas Tech. They've looked pretty good over the first couple of weeks. I would expect Texas Tech to win that game. Want to make some money today? Join Bet now. Hit the promo code UNCLELOU, one word, get 100% bonus on whatever you deposit. I like Maryland -8 today. Actually, I think it's -7 this morning. It started at -8 and went down to 7. I thought it was going to go up, so I played it early in the week at -8. So I'm on Maryland -8 today against Temple. Oklahoma, I played early. I played it on Monday for the same reason. I thought the line was going to go up, and it did go up. I got Oklahoma at minus 21.5. They're currently minus 23.5. I still like it at 23.5 though. And I took Ohio State at minus 15 early in the week. It's now up to minus 17.5. I like it a lot better under 17 than I do over 17, and I have it at minus 15. So those are the three I have put in already. Some other ones that I'm considering taking Kansas State plus 7.5 against Mississippi State. I'm considering taking NC State minus 7 against West Virginia. I'm considering Central Florida minus 9 versus Stanford, and I most likely am going to play that game as long as I can get it under 10 points. Probably, in fact, as soon as this stream is over, I'm probably going to check it, and if it's still under 10, I'm going to take UCF. Southern Cal minus 4.5 on the road at BYU. I like that one. Oklahoma State minus 14 against Tulsa. I think Oklahoma State's going to score in the 50s in that game. I like them there. Colorado State plus 10 against Arkansas. I don't think Arkansas can beat anybody by more than 10 points. I like Colorado State plus 10. I like Hawaii plus 21.5 against Washington, but more than that, I like the over in that game. Both these teams are going to sling the ball around. I think Washington's going to look to make up for a terrible performance last week in bad weather. I think there'll be a lot of points scored in this game. I'll take Hawaii plus 21.5, and I might play the over too. TCU against Purdue is a pick 'em. I'll go TCU there. I'm thinking about playing that one. Virginia minus 7.5. I wish it was 6.5. I still like it at 7.5, though. I'll probably end up playing Virginia if it stays around that number. And Texas Tech is minus 2 against Arizona, and I really like that one. I think they're going to beat Arizona by 2 or 3 touchdowns. So those are the games I'm considering playing, and the 3 that I've already played. I've already played Maryland minus 8, OU minus 21.5, and Ohio State minus 15. So that's that. And two, in addition to all that as well. Give me a call. What games are you watching today? You put any money on these games this weekend? Which games do you like? You tell me. You tell me how I could make some money today. 706-510-6817. College Game Day is on. They're live from Ames, Iowa this morning for the Iowa State game. SEC Nation comes on at 10 live from Lexington for the Florida and Kentucky game later tonight. I think Florida probably wins that game. I like Kentucky if I can get them over a touchdown, 7.5 or 8 points. I'm not sure if I'll play it, though. Kentucky's quarterback situation has me worried. I know Kentucky fans are confident in this Sam Howell or whatever his name is, but I'm not as confident as Kentucky fans are in their quarterback situation against that Florida pass rush. So I don't know. I'm in a holding pattern in terms of betting that game. Good morning, Nat. You're on with Uncle Lou and 2.
Good morning, Uncle Lou. Alan V. How are you today, sir?
Yeah, what's up, Alan?
Oh, you were just asking what games we're watching today and perhaps what games to wager on. Of course, I'll be watching my beloved Dogs at noon with my dad.
Of course. Over
in Marietta. Always, that's a tradition. Always watching the game with my dad. And after watching the non-conference game of Wake Forest in North Carolina last night and seeing the results of other ACC schools, I'm firmly convinced it's a basketball conference with a football problem. I don't understand their scheduling. I don't understand how Notre Dame plays 5 games over there. I don't see how you schedule a traditional opponent that you've been playing since 1888 as a non-conference game, and then the results happen, and that I think it's pretty easy money. You just bet against every ACC team except for Clemson. They're the only outlier, and you can probably make some money that way. We got any other ACC games today besides Clemson?
Virginia minus 7.5 against Florida State. That's ACC versus ACC. What about this one? What about Miami minus 40.5 against Bethune-Cookman?
I would jump all over Bethune-Cookman on that one. There's no way Miami's covering that spread. No way.
I hear you.
Got any other winners for me, Lou?
Well, I went through my list of winners. I mean, I really like.
I heard them. They were good.
Yeah, I really like Oklahoma. I mean, UCLA is they might be worse than Tennessee. I'm not even kidding. They might be the worst Power 5 team in America. And we all know Oklahoma can score 50 points against good defenses. They're liable to score in the 60s or 70s against UCLA. So 21.5. It's up to 23.5 now. But, I mean, I could easily see Oklahoma winning this game by 4 or 5 touchdowns. So I like that one a lot.
This could be that UCLA's coach his hot seat game. After today, he may officially be on the way out.
It's been a real disaster there since they hired him, for sure. I mean, I think people expected UCLA to struggle a little bit trying to turn that offense over, but I don't think they expected them to struggle this bad. I mean, they have just looked really, really bad now for the second year in a row.
Yes, absolutely. And what were some of your other picks? What else did you have?
Let's see. I'm on Ohio State minus 15, but it's up to 17.5 now. But I played it earlier in the week when it was 15. Yeah. They're on the road at Indiana. I'm on Maryland minus 8 against Temple. What else do I like here? Oh, UCF minus 9 against Stanford. Stanford got blown out by Southern Cal. UCF's a home game for UCF. I like UCF minus 9. I like Colorado State plus 10 against Arkansas. I don't think Arkansas can beat anybody by 10, so I like Colorado State plus 10.
Those all sound good, Lou. Stanford gets their quarterback today. I don't know if that'll make any difference there. And on the game you mentioned before that with the Turtle, everybody is starting to fear the Turtle, but I believe Temple beat them last year. Is that right?
Yeah, Temple beat them pretty bad last year, but listen, this Maryland team that I've seen the first couple of weeks this year, it does not look anything at all like the Maryland team I saw last year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How about BYU plus 3 against Southern Cal? Any interest, Lou?
No, I like the other side there. I think BYU got that big emotional win last week on the road at Tennessee. I think this is a hangover game for them, and I think Southern Cal is on a roll.
You got Tennessee covering the 28 today, Lou?
I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. No way.
No, sir. No, sir. Well, that's all I got, Lou. Just wanted to check in with you this early morning. You have a great game day, sir.
You too, Alan. I appreciate the call, sir. Thank you for all your support you give on the channel, and enjoy your college football Saturday, sir. What are y'all eating today for game day? You know I can't go a Saturday morning without talking about what's on the menu for game day today. Me and Lou Jr. are doing Chinese for game day today. After this stream ends, we're going to head up to the grocery store and get a few things. And then right next to the grocery store that we go to is this little Chinese. Why are all Chinese restaurants are named the same thing? But I think this one's called China King. They're all named that, aren't they? But that's one of our favorite Chinese places. So we're going to hit the grocery store up and then head over there to that Bing Bing China King or whatever the name of it is. And that's what we're doing today. We're going to snack on Chinese chicken wings and rice and egg rolls all day. Yeah, good morning in that. You're on with Uncle Lou, too, and also.
Yo, what's up, Uncle Lou? It's Mel and Matt here. I'm one of your Patreon supporters.
Yes, sir. What's up, Matt? What's going on, buddy?
Oh, not much, man. Starting my senior year at Alabama. I'll be watching the game probably at a buddy of mine's house. He's going to be making ribs and stuff like that. So that's on the menu for me today.
Now, did you go to the game last week?
Yeah, I had to leave, and it takes a lot for me to leave early. I had to leave early. First of all,
You're grounded.
They ran out of water. Nick
Saban is so mad at you, he can't stand it.
Yeah, I know. They ran out of water, and people were passing out because of the heat. I had to leave.
Let me ask you something, and then I'll let you get to whatever it is you want to talk about. But since you're an Alabama student who goes to games, what do the students think, or how do the students feel about this app that you guys are required to have and turn on while you're at the game that lets the school know how long you stayed at the game? And for those watching that don't know what I'm talking about, Alabama students, when they go to the game, they have an app on their phone. They turn the app on, and it monitors. It verifies that they're at the game and how long they stay. And they have to stay into the fourth quarter, and then they get a certain number of points. And then when at the end of the year, when Alabama makes either the SEC championship game or the playoffs, or if it were a New Year's Six bowl, whatever, the priority on who is able to buy those tickets is based off of those points that you earned by staying to the fourth quarter of these 60-0 blowouts. What do the students feel about that, about having to be monitored in terms of where they're at by the university? Do students mind that?
They don't really care because, I mean, when we not monitored, like when you look at the grand scheme of things,
You're right.
We're monitored every day through everything. So like, they don't really care. Like a lot of the ones I've talked to, like a lot of my friends are like, oh, all right, cool, I can use this for points and towards tickets and stuff. So, they don't, like I said, they don't really mind. But when it comes to those noon kickoff games, and the heat being the way it is, it's like, man, I got to bounce. Like it.
Right.
It's just like one of those things. Like I don't know, man.
I don't go to noon games, and I don't. You couldn't pay me to go to a noon game in September. There's just no way.
I was contemplating not going, but I was like, it's my senior year. It's my last home opener that I'll go to as a student.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and go. But yeah, man, that 102 index is too much.
Yeah, I hear you.
So yeah, did you watch any games last night?
I watched a little bit of the. Me and Mrs. Lou watched a movie, John Wick 3. Don't waste your time. By the way, I was extremely disappointed. I liked part 1 and part 2. Part 3 not that good. So I kept an eye. We were watching the movie, but I had the game on my phone, and I would glance down at it every once in a while.
Can you believe that Kansas has a better record than Tennessee?
It's unbelievable. I can't. It's just amazing to think. Yeah, that's crazy.
They're 2-1, and they have 2 wins against Power 5 schools.
Yeah. Wild. Especially, I mean, they looked terrible last week against like Coastal Carolina. No offense. Didn't they show up this week on the road and score 48 points? I said at the beginning of the show that they might not score 48 points combined the rest of the damn season, but they lit it up last night, though.
Right. Yeah, and I thought Boston College would have been a little bit better this season and might have had some type of chance against Clemson. That's not happening.
No. That Syracuse versus Clemson game doesn't look nearly as interesting today as it did a week ago either. After Syracuse got destroyed by Maryland, I thought all offseason you looked at Clemson's schedule and you were like, maybe Texas A&M can give them a game, maybe Syracuse, but that's about it. They've already handled Texas A&M, and now Syracuse doesn't look quite as good as I thought they would be. I can't imagine Clemson not winning that game tonight now. A little disappointing.
Oh, my gosh.
Not that I wanted Clemson to lose, but I thought that was going to be a good game. I mean, unless you're a Clemson fan, there's not a whole lot of reason to watch a lot of Clemson games this year because the majority of them are going to be blowouts. But this was one of the games you could look at and say, well, that's a Clemson game I can watch. That has the potential to be a good game. Now I'm not so sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. I'd be probably as shocked as I was, say, 2 years ago when Syracuse beat them. But yeah, I don't really see that happening tonight. So yeah, what's on your menu for the day?
I'm doing Chinese food today. As soon as this stream is over, I'm gonna head up to take Lou Jr. I'm gonna head up to the grocery store, get a few things, and then right next to the grocery store is one of these Bing Bing China King or whatever the names of these places are, and that we like to go to, and we're gonna go over there and get chicken wings and egg rolls and rice, and I think he wants sesame chicken or whatever. So we're just gonna get a bunch of Chinese food and just snack on that all day today.
Okay, there you go. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Lou. I'll get off of here and let you get some other callers.
All right, Matt. Thanks for the call, man. I really appreciate it.
Have a good game.
Yeah, you too. Enjoy your Saturday watching the games, and thank you for your support over on the Patreon page, sir. Jesse Stacy, thank you for the super chat and the donation. I really appreciate that. Good morning, Uncle Lou. Man, TJ has lost at LSU a joke. He thinks they done won the Natty. And by the way, to a time against the Thunder Chickens, roll tide. I haven't watched TJ LSU dad in well over a year. So I just have to take your word for it. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Uncle Lou. How you doing today, bud?
I'm doing good. How are you, sir?
I'm all right. I'm up from Southwest Georgia. I'm Trey Conley, and it's great to be on your channel, man.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you calling in. What's on your mind this morning?
Oh, man, it's a great day to watch football today, ain't it?
Yeah, always. Any day is a great day to watch football.
I've always had a soft spot in my heart ever since I played football in high school.
Yeah.
And it's always good to watch a lot of college football all day and every day.
No doubt.
But Florida, I'm a big Gator fan. And they're going to have a little bit of trouble with Kentucky, I believe.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if this was a close game. I think Florida probably ends up winning. Kentucky hasn't looked quite as good on offense as I thought they would this year, and now with their quarterback being down, it's hard to call for the upset here. But it would not surprise me for this to be a close game. But I have a feeling, unless Felipe Franks has one of those games where he just completely loses it, which does seem to happen once or twice a year. But unless Felipe Franks just has one of these 3 or 4 turnover games or something like that, I don't see Florida losing this one.
Yeah, and Franks, like last year, it goes back to 2017. Let's take a look at that. 2017, he was not that good. I mean, 2018, he picked up a little bit. He was better last year. Then he left off just like 2017, Felipe Franks versus Miami. It was really disappointing. He was doing all right in the first half of Miami. In the second half, he just completely different quarterback than we've seen in the first half. And then last week, for the Tennessee Martin, it's important who you play, and you just played the game. So he went 25 out of 27, 19% passing rate. He was way better than no one in Florida history in quarterback. Not even Tim Tebow did that, but you're playing versus Tennessee Martin. So what Franks are we going to get here today? Is it going to be a good Felipe Franks, or is it going to be the bad Felipe Franks? And it's really important because we don't have Kadarius Toney, but we do have Van Jefferson and what's that other guy, Tyree Cleveland.
Yeah, you're loaded at the wide receiver position now. Kadarius Toney, I think, has been one of your most exciting players, and honestly, you may have lost the Florida game without Kadarius Toney. He had a couple of really big plays in that game, obviously the touchdown being one of them. And one of your best defensive players is out too. Defensive back, what's his name? C.J. Henderson. He's out too. I just don't.
Yeah,
I don't know if Kentucky can take. I don't know if Kentucky has the passing ability to take advantage of that. I know they have Lynn Bowden, and he's an exciting player. It's just hard to trust Kentucky in this spot with that quarterback change, but we'll see.
It is. I gotta admit, last year when we lost to Kentucky last year, I was pretty upset about that. But year gone on with Kentucky, it wasn't that bad. They were the better team versus Florida.
Right.
Last year, there was no doubt they went 9-3. It's been a long time since I've seen Kentucky like that. Since 2017 with Andre Woodson, and they beat LSU that year. But you go forward, and they look like they're trying to go back to that 2017, 2018 look. But they don't have Wilson, and I think he's gone for the year, right, with an injury?
I think so. Yeah, I think he's out for the year.
But they also don't have Benny Snell, and I thank God he's out.
Yeah, he was a beast.
He went to the draft because he tore my Gators up.
Yeah, he was the real deal. He was a good one.
He was a terror. I go admit that. Kentucky was much better. But I also want to talk about, the noontime games. They don't bother me. I don't know why Alabama's complaining about 12 o'clock. They don't, you said it on your channel. I love watching your channel and videos and all that. And I've been listening to what you said. And Alabama don't play as much 12 noon games like everybody else. I don't see that.
Yeah, and I mentioned this the other night, but, I mean, the reality is nobody likes noon games, but everybody's got to play. Like, the fans don't like it because no one likes a noon game. Like, eliminates almost all tailgating, and to me, that's when I go to a game, the tailgating is almost more fun and more exciting than actually going to the game. So when you have a noon game, that really eliminates a lot of the tailgating. The fans don't seem to be nearly as loud or as energetic for a noon game. The players obviously don't like it. It's more exciting to play at night under the lights. It's cooler in the evening. So I mean, nobody likes noon games, but the idea that Alabama's AD and Nick Saban would come out and act like it's some kind of conspiracy by the SEC office and the TV networks to force Alabama to play noon games is just ridiculous. And I put the chart up on the screen the other day. Alabama has only played 4 games at noon in the month of September since 2014. Georgia has played 9. Kentucky and Florida, I think, have played 7. Almost everybody has played more noon games than Alabama. So this lie that they told that we've played more noon games than all the other is just a lie. The only thing that Alabama is crying about that makes any sense at all and has any truth to it at all is their LSU argument. You can't find an LSU home game at noon. They don't exist. And I don't know why that is.
They usually go at 3:30? 3:30?
Most of their games are at night. Yeah, most of their games at home games are either at night, or if CBS picks them up, they're at 3:30. So there may be something to the fact that, hey, how come LSU never has a noon game? But that's not what Alabama and Nick Saban originally said. They just made it out like every other team doesn't have to play noon games, and somehow Alabama's being singled out, and that's just not true. But I looked it up. You can't find – you can go back 4, 5, 6 years. You cannot find an LSU home game at noon. So there may be something to that somebody can look into, but as far as the TV network singling Alabama out for noon games, that's just ridiculous. Nobody wants to watch Alabama beat New Mexico 60-0 at 7:30 at night. They just don't. So, schedule better games. I mean, so it's just ridiculous that Alabama would cry about it.
Okay, you got Florida and Tennessee Martin. Even though we played at night, I don't know why that happened, but usually that's how we do it in the first 2 weeks for Florida. We play nobody at night. I don't know why. But you take a Tennessee Martin guy, you got a Tennessee Martin team versus our Gator team, right? And you put them at noon. Would you rather watch that or watch Alabama versus Georgia matchup at night? I'd rather take the nighttime than the daytime game.
Obviously, yeah, and that's what the networks do.
It's a marquee matchup.
Yeah, the networks try to put the better games on in the afternoon and at night, and they try to put the worst games on at noon. Now, it doesn't always work out that way based on who chooses what games, but obviously, that's the general idea. But, hey, I'm going to let you go. Good luck to your Gators today against Kentucky. I think that'll be one of the best games of the day, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to be watching that one, even if they're not Florida or Kentucky fans. North Florida White Trash, thank you for the super chat and the donation, sir. I really appreciate it. He says, UF will limit mistakes and win by 3 scores tonight. I think that's possible if they have no mistakes. They've looked like a better – I don't really think it's that Florida has listen, I picked Florida to lose this game in the offseason when I did the preview and prediction videos. And it's not that Florida has looked better than I thought they would. It's that Kentucky offensively has not been where I thought they would, and now they're down a quarterback. That's why I'm going with Florida to win this game, but I would not be surprised if it was a close game. Good morning, Nat. You're on with Uncle Lou.
What up, Lou?
Yeah, what's up, buddy?
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, I'm an Auburn fan. An exciting life we have.
No doubt. You say you're a Barner?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's not fair. That's not fair. Yeah. Speak up a little bit now. We can't hear you. Take the dip out.
I'm outside right now. The wind's blowing, so going to play. I just want to give some thoughts for the rest of the season. I think the FN is still 9-3.
I have the sudden urge to play this. I don't know why.
Huh?
But what's going on today?
And none more to go for hang out, watch noon games, Rental 6 days, so Auburn plays something called Kent State, or even know what that is.
Okay, I had to let you go. I'm not sure what was happening there. It sounded like you were calling in from a broken cinder block or something. I couldn't understand anything you were saying at all. Anyway, listen to your call back, sir, and I think you'll understand what I mean. I don't know if it was an issue with your connection, or what. So I apologize for having to end the call. But if I can't hear you, then I know the people watching can't hear you either. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hello?
Come in.
Yes, this is Gator. I don't know what the hell that Auburn caller was doing, but first of all, I don't think you're a racist. You're right. FSU coach is as bad as advertised. Willie Taggart, I called it from the get-go. He's a terrible coach. He has no winning record. He doesn't know what he's doing. He should be coaching Pee Wee football.
I don't understand what people expect. I mean, South Carolina hires Will Muschamp. Will Muschamp was at Florida and couldn't win games, and now South Carolina acts surprised that Will Muschamp is struggling at South Carolina. It makes no sense. Florida State hires Willie Taggart. The guy's been a head coach at 3 different places and has a career losing record, and then Florida State fan acts surprised when he shows up at Florida State and has losing records. And then when you point that out, you're suddenly a racist. Willie Taggart could be purple, pink, blue. He could be Trump colored, whatever color that is, and I really don't think anyone knows. It wouldn't matter. He's still a terrible coach. It's got nothing to do with his skin color. So. Yeah, he doesn't know what he's doing.
I agree. Well, no, I don't think you're racist. You're a dickhead at times, but you're funny. When you're not talking about the person's team, you're very, very entertaining. I mean, I think some of your best videos are the Tennessee Voltar videos.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
And for the other Florida fan, come on, man. You got to speak up with confidence, man. He was not confident. But he does have a point. Depending on what Felipe Franks that we're getting is going to determine the Kentucky game. I will say this. We do have a cornerback, not as good as C.J. Henderson. Can't replace him. However, he's serviceable, and he can, if he don't make mistakes, he can, help fill in till C.J. Henderson gets back. But I will say this. You will be hearing a lot more from me. I will be replacing Lance from Jasper. I think the dude from Drugs.
Thank you.
Because, my God, we're getting a better representation than Lance from Jasper. I don't know what the hell is wrong with him.
Yeah, Florida deserves
what happened
better.
to him.
Yes, I agree with
you.
Florida deserves better.
I don't know. I tried to listen to him, and then on one of his live streams, he called somebody, and then in the background, he's arguing with his wife for basically taking too much drugs, and then cuts it out like the dude he had called was like, Lance, hey, what's going on? What's going on? Like, it was just a catastrophe phone call, and right then and now, it's like, I got to start making live streams.
Yeah.
So look forward from hearing from me. I'm a start. I don't know when. I'm always busy. I'm always on the road. I'm on the road now. I'm from Georgia. I'm from Rome. I'm a Gator fan. My whole family is Georgia fans. But anyway, I'll let you get the other calls. Thanks for having me on. Uncle Lou, I watch your videos all the time.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you called in, and good luck to Florida tonight.
He's a Florida man, Lou.
Yeah, and if you do start making some videos, make sure you let me know. I'll check them out, and I'll get you some people over there. to watch them. We'll post a link or something on one of these live shows or something and get you some viewers over there. 706-510-6817 is the number if you need to be on the show today. Give me a call. What time is it? 9:45. So we got about 15 minutes, 15 or 20 minutes or so left before we end the show. This morning. College Game Day, of course, is live from Ames, Iowa today for the Iowa State game coming up today. SEC Nation, which starts at the top of the hour, 10 o'clock, live from Lexington today for the Florida at Kentucky game, which is 7 o'clock tonight, right? We'll be streaming that on the Patreon page, so make sure you check us out over there tonight about 7 o'clock. Good morning, and that you're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Lou. Hope you're doing well today. Just wanted to let you know that betnow.edu is giving away free money. Alabama's minus 25. Have fun with that. Y'all have a good Saturday, everybody. Bye.
All right, thank you. Yeah, guy says put your money on Alabama minus 25. I can't say that I disagree with that. It's always scary to me to lay that amount of points in an SEC versus SEC game. SEC versus SEC game, especially on the road in the SEC. I forget the exact stat, though, but Alabama is something like 11-4 against the spread in their last 15 SEC road games, something like that. So if you're going to lay points on the road with an SEC team, Alabama's a pretty good team to do it with. Especially over the last 3 or 4 years since Alabama changed their offense around, they seem to have no problem covering some of these larger spreads week to week. That combined with the fact that South Carolina is starting a freshman quarterback, and I know he played last week and he looked good, and he 280 yards, completed 80% of his passes. That was against Charleston Southern. That's not going to prepare him for what he sees today with that Nick Saban Alabama defense. It's hard to imagine South Carolina keeping this one close, even in the first half. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Uncle Lou. This is Daniel.
What's up, Daniel?
Hey, not much, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. You?
I'm doing great this morning.
Okay, good.
Hey, first thing first. Man, I was only joking with you about that Alabama deal.
What Alabama deal?
No reason. I have no idea why our athletic director is complaining about the 11 o'clock game.
Yeah, pretty stupid.
I know. But, hey, I agree with you on these games you are talking about. I'm going to watch all the SEC games. But with everything that could happen in football, like it's been doing, you think Tennessee will win, or do you think they will lose? Because I got a few things about that Tennessee game.
I think Tennessee wins, yeah. What do you think?
With me, I think Philip Fulmer is behind everything. I think he wants the job back.
That's a popular theory floating around. It's not the first time I've heard that, so you may be onto something there.
Yeah, I think he's trying to tell Pruitt what to do, and
Whoa, Todd!
I think he's calling the plays behind the scenes. What do you think?
I don't know if he's calling the plays. In fact, I'd be willing to bet that he's not, but he may be pulling some strings back behind the scenes. I don't know. When he first became athletic director and hired Jeremy Pruitt, he was down on the practice field. Fulmer was, which of course is against the rules. But he was down there coaching the players up, and that's a no-no. And of course, the NCAA shut that down real quick. But it wouldn't surprise me if Philip Fulmer has his eye on that coaching job. Now, I think things would have to go even worse than they've gone so far for Tennessee in order for that to happen this season. But if Tennessee starts 1-6 or 1-7, I wouldn't be shocked if something like that ended up happening.
Okay, so let me ask you one more question before I go.
Okay.
If if Tennessee loses and Florida State loses, you think Pruitt and Taggart are fired right away?
You rarely see a coach fired during the season. Now, it has happened. Of course, Lane Kiffin famously got left at the airport after an away game. Sometimes coaches are fired with 1 or 2 games left to go in the season. It would be extremely unusual to have a coach fired in September. So I doubt it. If either of those coaches gets fired, I think it would be in November.
All right, Uncle Lou. Man, you have a wonderful and blessed day, man.
You too, and thank you for the call and that. And also too. So.
Whoa, Todd, Woo!
Good morning in that.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
I'd like to ask you a question.
Yeah, turn that off in the background, whatever it is where you're listening to Uncle Lou. Turn that off. Okay, go ahead. Okay, he hung up. Hey, when you call in, you can't be listening to the show in the background because it's a delay. It's just like when you call into a radio show or something like that or a TV show. Everything is always on a delay, so you can't have it playing on something else in the background, or else you're going to be like 6 seconds behind, and we'll hear that echo like we just heard there. So get that straightened out. Give Uncle Lou a call back. Jason Blair, thank you for the super chat, sir. I appreciate that. Just reminder here, when you send a super chat, there is a spot there for you to type a message in. I don't know if maybe you didn't want to type a message in. I just, whenever someone sends a super chat without a message, I like to take that time to just remind everyone that you can type a message in along with that super chat, and it shows up in a separate window for me, and I make sure and read it. So if you didn't know that, now you do. Yep. 706-510-6817. What games are we watching today? Obviously, you're watching your team play, right? My Georgia Bulldogs kick off at noon. The game will likely be over by halftime, right? I'm not interested in watching Stetson Bennett throw another couple of interceptions. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's got no business being quarterback at a Division I school, so I'll watch first half for sure. Fromm had 11 pass attempts last week. Sure would be nice to get him closer to 15 today. Try to get ramped up for this Notre Dame game we got coming up next week. Obviously, we could line up and run the same running play 100 times against Arkansas State and win the game. I don't see how that's making us any better, though, or preparing us for what's to come later on down the road. I would like to see us open up the passing game again today, get some of these young wide receivers some valuable playing time, reps, and catches with the first-string offense. That was great that George Pickens had a couple of catches last week. Let's get him 4 or 5 more today. Eli Wolf, 4 or 5 more today. Lawrence Cager, get him some catches today. Demetrius Robertson, whoever else is playing out there, whatever. Let's throw the ball a little bit today. That would be ideal for me. Of course, that would be ideal for me every single game we've played going back the last couple of years, and it hasn't always worked out that way for me, and then I got to get mad and say stuff about it, which pisses people off, and I don't want to have to do that today. Good morning in that. You're on with Uncle Lou and 2.
Morning, Uncle Lou. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you, sir?
Not too bad, buddy. I watch your show all the time and really enjoy it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. I just had a question for you. I'm a Dogs fan too, and I know all we got is Jake Fromm. Have you heard anything about DeJuan Mathis's recovery?
I would be surprised if he played at all this year, to be honest with you. I think they're going to redshirt him. Now, maybe he gets cleared at the end of the year, and they'll put him in. You can play in 4 games and still redshirt. So maybe he's cleared for contact. I mean, he's practicing and all that, but he's not cleared for contact yet. So that's the issue. And there's really no sense in rushing him back, especially when Jake Fromm is healthy, because if he were to play right now, It would only be in the second half of these blowouts,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not real sure how much that would benefit him anyway. So it's looking to me
I'm not
like
calling for a Justin Fields situation or
exactly.
anything like
and
that.
I know.
I just know we're one hit away from Stetson Bennett being our quarterback, and
right. That is not
good.
You're right. Now, if something were to happen to Jake Fromm, I think people would start asking a lot more questions about DeJuan Mathis's recovery and time frame and things like that, because I think anybody with a set of working eyes and a brain knows Stetson
Jake
Bennett
Fromm
is not
the
the
man.
answer. Yeah. So.
Yeah, Jake Fromm is our man. It is scary to think about if one hit and he's out of there, and Stetson Bennett, well, that's where we're at.
Yeah, not good. Not good.
All right, you have a good day. Appreciate the call, buddy.
You too. I mean, obviously the ideal situation is going to be for Fromm to stay healthy and let DeJuan Mathis completely recuperate from this offseason brain surgery that he had. If something were to happen to Jake Fromm, like I said, I think you would have a lot more people interested in DeJuan Mathis's recovery and the timetable for return and things like that as it stands now. Not that no one cares about DeJuan Mathis or his recovery, but with a healthy Jake Fromm, that's just not something that's on the forefront of everyone's mind for obvious reasons. So we can easily send Stetson Bennett in there, let him hand off 30 times and throw a couple of interceptions in the second half, and it is what it is. Jason Blair, there you go. Thank you, sir. I see you you figured it out now with the comment. I appreciate that. He says, "Go Dogs" from Rome, Georgia. Hopefully we don't hide our passing game today. Keep doing your thing, Lou. Love watching your videos. Yeah, I appreciate that, sir. And yeah, I mean, listen, does Jake Fromm need to come out and throw 30 passes today? No, obviously he doesn't. But I just think the reality of the situation is with all these young, inexperienced wide receivers that we have, as talented as they are, it's hard to get game experience any other way than in a game. And, these first couple of games that have been blowouts or whatever seems like a good time to me to get some of these young wide receivers some valuable game time experience. Now, we saw a little bit of that in the second quarter last week. Maybe we'll see a little bit more of it today. We'll see. Maybe this game won't get quite as out of hand as early as the Murray State game did. I do think Arkansas State is a better team than Murray State, so maybe Fromm plays into the third quarter today, which of course would translate into more pass attempts, but I would like to see him get between 15 and 20, get some of these young wide receivers involved in this game, get them ramped up and ready to go for next week against Notre Dame. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
But you've never played, Woo.
I ain't played nobody. Who has Uncle Woo even played?
You never even played football, Woo.
And when I did play, I didn't play nobody. Who did he play? Who did he play? Some AA teams? Who did he play? Who has Georgia played, Woo?
You're not a real fan, Lou. You never played.
You don't even have a YouTube channel, do you, caller? You're not a real fan.
I'm Nick Davis.
What's up, Lou?
What's up, buddy?
What you up to?
I'm hosting a YouTube call-in show.
Oh, what kind of thing is that? What is that? I've never heard of that.
It's like a potato without the peel on it.
Oh, yeah. I fry them up for breakfast sometimes. Anyways, how do you think West Virginia's going to do today?
I don't think they're going to do very good.
Yeah. See, for me, this game is a must-win game because, I mean, Kansas. We have to go to Kansas next week. So, and they obviously have momentum. So I think that if we do drop this game, it's going to be pretty hard to go to Kansas and beat them. To be honest,
things have gotten pretty rough in Morgantown. Whenever someone says, we really need to win this week because next week we have to play at Kansas.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone has ever uttered those words before. Man, we better win this week because next week we got to play at Kansas.
Look, I cringed when I said that. By the way, I was cringing, but no, I mean, I don't know. I see like, I don't know. I'm more optimistic, so I do see like improvement. Week to week, even when we got our asses kicked to Missouri, I saw some improvement. Like we had some, the wide receivers Sam James, he had a couple good catches. George Campbell, I think we need to put him in the game more because both catches, he's had 2 catches all season, and each one was a touchdown. So I don't know why we put him in at the last minute of the game to score us a touchdown.
Who
so
now?
I don't know what that's about.
What's his name?
George Campbell.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Literally the past 2 games, we've put him in the last 10 minutes, and each time he's scored a touchdown.
No doubt.
So, yeah, but I don't know. Things aren't looking good, but hey, it could be a Tennessee fan, so you know.
Things could always be worse. Yeah, you could be sporting that power T.
And it's funny because I don't even feel like every time West Virginia disappoints me, I go and hear about Tennessee losing, and I'm like, oh, okay, things aren't so bad.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
It's about optimism.
Yeah. Well, hey, good luck to you against NC State today. I have a feeling NC State probably wins that one, but I have no hate for West Virginia, so good luck to you, sir. Maybe you guys can pull one out. What kind of potato do we have in the comment section here? Cinnamon 06. Cinnamon, which is, well, never mind. I was about to make a bad joke there, but let me stop and just go ahead and read this super important comment that he left. Are there gays in the South? What do you think? They're allergic to warm weather or something? Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, good morning, Uncle Lou. This is Cody Percival.
Cody, what's up, buddy?
I'm a ball fan.
Sorry about that.
And I know, I understand. I kind of wanted to weigh in with some of the UT stuff. I wanted to hear your opinion on it. What do you think? What do you think of the possibility of Tennessee calling up Urban Meyer, saying, "We got you $10 million a year. Come up here and change something"?
I think the chances of that happening are about 5%, and I think the chances of Urban Meyer taking that job are 0%. He ain't coming nowhere near the SEC. He's blackballed.
You don't think you don't think you'd do it for $10 million?
I don't think. No, I don't. I think he's blackballed from the SEC. I don't think. I don't think a school would be allowed to hire him after what he did at Florida. I don't think he would have the nerve to do it. I don't think he would. I mean, he burns bridges everywhere he goes. I don't think Utah would hire him. I don't think Florida or anyone in the SEC would hire him. I don't think Ohio State would hire him back or anyone else in the Big Ten. So he's going to have to make his way out west to the Pac-12. Or the Big 12. Most likely the Pac-12, in my opinion.
I'm just pulling any strings I can now because I need a win, man. And I don't even know if today will give me what I need.
I mean, Tennessee. It's hard to say this now because a lot of coaches turned the job down last year. But, I mean, there are some young coaches that I think could have some success at Tennessee if they were given a little bit of time. Matt Campbell at Iowa State is a good one. I don't even think Tennessee called Les Miles, and we know he was looking for a job. And he, I'm not here to tell you Kansas is winning 10 games, but look what they've already done this year compared to what they've done over the last 5 if there's any team you want to compare to Tennessee over the last 5 or 6 years, it's Kansas. And you tell me who looks better this year so far, Kansas or Tennessee. It's Kansas. They've got 2 wins over Power 5 teams. So, I don't know. I mean, it's easy to look now and say maybe Pruitt wasn't the right hire. That's easy to do now. It's hard to know that ahead of time, though. But as far as Urban Meyer, I honestly don't think Tennessee can land a big name coach. I think they're going to have to get somebody young and fresh and looking to make a name for himself. I can't think of a big name coach that would take that job, especially with Phil Fulmer there breathing down your neck. Urban Meyer's not coming to Tennessee, so Phil Fulmer can breathe on the back of his neck. There's no way that's happening.
And I was watching earlier when that guy was talking about Phil Fulmer pulling all those strings. And see, that was I had heard about that a little bit here and there on the forums, but I never thought it was anything big or worth anything. And then here you say it was like, what? It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, Tennessee will win today, but like you said, how much is that really going to pacify the fans? I mean, you'll probably win big, but it's an FCS team. Now, I think Tennessee fans would be – I think it would make Tennessee fans happier to get a close loss, a competitive loss at Florida next week than it would a 30-point win today. A 30-point win today is not going to change anybody's mind about Tennessee. You go down to Florida, and even if you lose by 7 points, people are going to say, well, this looks like a step in the right direction compared to where we started. You know, so I don't think we're going to really learn anything much about Tennessee this week. Right now, I think everything is riding on that Florida game, you know. So.
Oh, 100%. Well, I just wanted to hear your opinion on that. I thank you for talking to me.
Yeah, I appreciate the call. Enjoy your college football today, and good luck to your Vols. Although I'll be honest, I don't think you need it. I might have to change one of my picks here. I mentioned at the beginning. I think at the beginning of the stream, I said I liked Hawaii plus 21.5 at Washington, but the Bear on College Game Day just took Washington at minus 21.5. And for those of you that follow Chris Felica, the Bear on College Game Day, the guy knows what he's doing when it comes to sports betting. So I'm definitely not taking Hawaii now. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the video that I might. And I probably just won't play it then. Maybe I'll end up switching to Washington, but I probably just won't play it. I don't know. Videos coming up today. Obviously, a halftime report for Georgia versus Arkansas State and a post-game video for Georgia versus Arkansas State. A live stream tonight at about 6:45 or 7 for all the nighttime games, but that'll be on the Patreon page. So if you're a Patreon member, go on over to the Patreon page around 6:45 tonight. You'll see the link posted. You can click that link. It'll take you to the live stream that we're doing for all of tonight's games. And we got some pretty good ones. Florida and Virginia, Oklahoma, UCLA, Clemson and Syracuse, and what am I leaving out? Oh, Florida and Kentucky, obviously. So we'll be streaming during those games tonight, reacting to those games, discussing those games in the comment section, that kind of thing. That'll be tonight at 6:45 or 7 over on the Patreon page. Click the link in the description of this video or any video of mine that says support the channel, and it will take you to the Patreon page if you want to get yourself signed up and join us for those live streams. We have a whole lot of fun. There's not nearly as many people, obviously, watching those live streams on the Patreon page as there is on YouTube, so I have more of a chance to interact with you guys one-on-one in the comment section. You know, there's no super chats on the Patreon stream, so I read all the comments, just the regular comments when we do the stream over there. Will, thank you for the super chat, sir. He says, if I see Stetson run on that field against a quality team like Notre Dame, Auburn, or anyone better than a cupcake, I'm screaming. Enjoy your content, Lou. Hopefully, if he runs on the field, it means that we're up by 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Other than that, there's no reason he should ever see the field. He's not a Division I quarterback, much less an SEC-level quarterback. He's just not. There's a reason he wasn't offered any scholarships out of high school. There's a reason he walked on at Georgia and never saw the field in 2017. There's a reason he quit after the 2017 season and went and played JUCO in 2018, and there was a reason while at that JUCO school in 2018 he led American interceptions, throwing 14 of them. It's because he's not very good. The only reason he's back at the University of Georgia is because we basically called him and begged him to come back and offered him a scholarship when Justin Fields announced he was transferring, because we had no other scholarship quarterbacks on our roster. You got to remember, this was before we signed DeJuan Mathis. We found out Justin Fields was leaving in January. Signing day was in February. Most of the big-name quarterbacks had already signed in December during the early signing period. We actually got pretty lucky in flipping DeJuan Mathis. If not, it would be just Fromm and Stetson Bennett. Now we're pretty much stuck with that anyway, with DeJuan Mathis having the brain cyst in the offseason surgery, but nevertheless, that's the only reason we even have Stetson Bennett. But he's not the answer at quarterback for any Division I program, much less Georgia or an SEC team. And I agree with you. If he gets into the game during any types of valuable minutes against any of those good teams, then things have drastically gone off the rails at the University of Georgia, and the season would be pretty much over at that point in my mind. But back to the video. So the stream, halftime video for the Georgia game, post-game video for the Georgia game. The stream tonight over on the Patreon page at about 6:45 or 7. And, of course, reaction videos throughout the day. If anything major happens, any major upsets, if I need to get on camera and laugh at somebody. If for some reason Tennessee lose, I've been taking it very, very easy on Tennessee fans for the entirety of this season because I have legitimately felt bad for their diehard fans. They don't deserve to watch their team go out and lose to Georgia State and BYU like that. I've been taking it extremely easy on Tennessee. If you lose to Chattanooga today, all that's out the window, and I'm just going to laugh at you for the rest of the season. I don't see that happening. You should win today, but just know if you don't that, the old Uncle Lou will be back because that would just be, I don't need to tell you how bad that would be. Anything else that happens today that I feel like I need to react to off the cuff or immediately or whatever, of course, I'll upload videos for that too. And then tomorrow morning, week 3 version of the Your Season is Over video. So I'm sure we'll have a fresh set of teams to throw on that list tomorrow morning. Make sure you catch that video. I'm sure all of you watch those. That's one of the most popular videos I do week in and week out is that Your Season Is Over video. So I'm sure all of you already watched that Sunday morning video. But if for some reason you don't, make sure you start checking those out. They're pretty popular. It's basically a recap of what happened the day before. But instead of talking about the teams that won, I talk about the teams that lost and laugh at them. And anyway, you guys know. I'm going to get out of here. I got an errand or two I got to run this morning before the Georgia game comes on at noon. And I got to go to the grocery store. And Uncle Lou and Lou Jr. are eating Chinese food all day today. So we got to stop at our favorite Bing Bing China King or whatever the name of the place is. They're all named the same thing, basically. Bing Bing China King, I think, is the name of this one. I don't know. Wing Ding. You want chicken wing? Yeah, like about 20 of them. Thank you. Doggy bag? Yes, to go. So I got to run and do that so I can make sure I get back by 12 o'clock to watch these early kickoffs, including my Georgia Bulldogs. So really appreciate you guys tuning in this morning. Thank all you guys for the support and the super chats. That means a whole lot to me. One of the reasons I'm able to do as many live shows as I am is because of all the support I get from you guys through these super chats. So thank you, Jesse, Stacy, North Florida White Trash, Jason, Blair, and Will. Thank you so much for the super chats. Everybody that tuned in this morning, everybody in the comment section, Nick Davis, Chicken Dude, Nick Smith, Patrick Havard, Shoot'em556, Dane McAllister, Go Tigers, 2KJ, Joe Quiles, Allen Outdoors, William H., Colby Ellis, Pine Saw, Lemon Scent. Good morning, sir. That is the best scent they have, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Melvin Emery, Gator Nation, Nick Smith, Donnie Shepard, Riley Horton, Tom Johnson, Go Time, Geaux. We all know what that means. Corn Dogger. Yep. John Trenchard, Andrew Patton, Shane Westwood, Drew Campbell, Nick Orr, Mystical 3. It ain't my fault. It ain't my fault. Yep. EC Productions, Real Cage, Tyler McDonald. Appreciate all you guys tuning in this morning. Enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy your week 3 of the 2019 college football season. I hope all your teams win today. Unless for some odd reason you're an Arkansas State fan, in which case you're going to have to catch this 40-point L. So I apologize in advance. To everyone else, good luck, no injuries. Let's hope for some good games today. And you'll see me at halftime of the Georgia game, post-game of the Georgia game, 7 o'clock tonight on the Patreon page, and reaction videos to anything else that happens today that I feel like I need to make a video about. All right, you guys take it easy, and I will see you again very, very soon. Yeah, I have to.